Hello, greetings to you all, and welcome to our virtual classroom. And I am Isofa, your virtual teacher. Today, we are going to look at the features, some of the things that we need to take into consideration when typing our dissertation. So, we're going to see how to configure and arrange our work area. Let's head on to the PC without any waste of time. And this is our work area where our cursor is blinking. That's where when we would type, our text will enter. We go ahead. The first thing we want to check will be our paper size, because we need to know the size of the paper that when we print, it will come out on. We'll click on the layout tab. In the page setup group, we check the size. The size we are seeing is letter. That's not what is supposed to be checked. It's supposed to be A4 size of paper. So we're going to ensure that it is A4. We click on A4 to select A4. The next item we'll have to check will be our margins. We need to check our margins to ensure that our margins are in order. I'll click on the margins tool in the page setup group. I'll click on margins and click on custom margins. When I click on custom margins, I'm going to give the top margin. I'm going to set my top margin, my bottom margin, the left margin, and the right margin. Remember that these are areas to the left, right, top, and bottom that text will not enter. My top margin will be 2.0 centimeter. My bottom margin, 2.0 centimeters. My left margin, 2.5 centimeter. And always remember that your units are supposed to be in centimeters. When I'm through with this, I'll hit the OK button, and my margins are all set. Now, the next thing I want to set will be to set the various sections in my work area. Remember that our dissertation contains the cover page, which is the title page. It also contains preliminary pages moving from dedication to resume. It also contains our chapters from chapter 1 to chapter 5, and it contains references and appendices. You like to know that these items are supposed to fall in their own sections. So I'm going to create different sections in my document. I'll hit on the layout tab in the page setup group. I'll click on breaks. This time around, I want to insert section breaks. Now I'll click on breaks. I'll click next page. I'll do it the second time and the third time. This way, I have 4 pages now that correspond to 4 different sections. Now I'll go up to the first page. The first page, which is my title page, is not supposed to have a page number. The second page, which is my dedication page. The third section will include my chapter 1, my chapter 2, and so on. And the last section will include my references now and appendices, if there will be any. Remember that we are noting this one so that even if we are to forget, we should always remember whenever we come back to work on our document. So we are going to go ahead and insert page numbers, because these sections will help us to have our page numbers. I'll go ahead and insert page numbers. On the insert tab, I'll click on page number in the header and footer group. I'll click on page number. I want to insert my page number to the bottom of my page. So I'll hover on my mouse over bottom of page, and this menu will appear. I will select the design that is appealing to me, that I like, and this one looks good to me. I'll click on it. Now, my page numbers have been inserted. I can see page 1, page 2, page 3, and so on. But that's not how it's supposed to be. We are not supposed to have a page number on page 1. And so how do we remove this? If we click on remove page number from page 1, you will notice that page number will go away on all the other pages. So we are going to undo, and we're going to unlink page 1 and 2. So section 2, we'll click on link to previous. In this pane, in the navigation pane, I'm going to remove this link to previous, such that section 1 and 2 are no longer linked together. This will permit me to be able to remove the page number from page 1 while page number remains on page 2. So my title page is now beginning to come together because it no longer contains the page number. This time I'm going to head on to my page 2 2, which is supposed to be page 1 in Roman numerals. Again, I'll head on to my page number still on the design tab because my footer is still open. Remember that a page number is a footer. I'll click on the page number and I'll format page numbers. When I format page number, my number format, I will click and select Roman numerals. When I select Roman numerals, instead of allowing it to continue from previous section, I'll take start at 1 and I'll hit OK. When I hit OK, I have page 1 on this dedication page. Now that looks good to me. I'll move on to the next section where I have page 2, and that is where my chapter 1 begins, and I'm supposed to have but page 1 in Arabic numerals. I'll go back to my page number. I'll hit the page number again. I'll format page numbers, and my number format looks quite all right, but then it's continuing from the previous section, so I have to start at 1. I'll click OK, and that is done, and I have page 1 there. I'll go on to the last section. I'm seeing page 2 there. Last section is not supposed to have page numbers, and so I'm supposed to remove the page number from this section, but it is still linked to the previous section, so I have to uncheck this box such that it is no longer linked, and then I remove page number from the last section. When you look at it well, you realize that our document is already beginning to come together, but there are still some very few items we need to add to make sure that our work looks quite pretty well. We now need to design the font type, the font size, and all the other line spacings. How are we going to do that? We're going to use these styles. Still on the home tab, in the styles group, there are different styles. We're going to make use of some of these styles. I'm going to use the first one, which is headings 1. Remember that your document contains headings, and I'm going to call this the main heading. When I call it the main heading, there's some few formatting controls that I need to check here. I need to check my font type. I'll put it at Times New Roman. My font size, I'll use 14 to ensure that all my main headings should be font size 14. Then I'll change the color to black, and I'll make it bold. I'll check the bold so that it should be bold. And I'll also have to change something on the format here, the paragraph, to ensure that my line spacings are in order. I'll check here to ensure this is 0. Line spacing here is set at 1.5. And if that is done, I'll hit on OK. And I hit OK again. That is done. I'll go on to the second. I'll take heading 2. My heading 2, I'll right click again. I'll take modify. When I take modify, this is going to be my subheadings. I want to have 2 levels of headings. Main headings and subheadings. So this is a subheading. I'll hit the font type again. I'll change it to Times New Roman. I can allow it at font size 13 so that it should be quite different from the body of my document, but smaller than the main heading. I'll hit the color of my text again, and I'll change it to black. I'll check the text, the style for the format following paragraph should be normal. That looks quite okay to me. I'll look at format. I'll format my paragraph, and my paragraph is supposed to be 0 points before and 1.5 line spacing. So 0 before paragraphs and 0 after paragraph. These are the most important items to check on this paragraph or this paragraph dialog box that opens. I'll hit OK, and I'll hit OK again. All right, my styles are already beginning to come together. I have main headings and subheadings. Now the next thing I need to adjust is the normal style. The normal style, I'll right click on it and I'll take modify again. I'll allow it to be normal. I'll change the font type to Times New Romans. I'll change my font size this time around to 12, such that the body of my work is font size 12. The subheadings font size 13, and the main heading font size 14. And my color should be black, and this one should not be bold. Then I'll check the paragraph to ensure that it is 0 points before and 0 points after, and my line spacing set at 1.5. When that is all done, I'll hit OK and OK again. We can now already start defining which ones are headings and which ones are subheadings. Okay, I can say all these items here from dedication to resume, they are all main headings. I'll hit on main heading, and to check if it's bold, I realize that it is not bold. I'm not going to come here and bold all of them one after another. I'm going to go back to the main heading, right click again on my main heading and modify it, and I'll hit the bold button and I'll click OK, and that makes all of them bold. And we can also highlight these items here and we make them main heading. That's what we're going to do for all our main headings. And these main headings, we are going to make sure that they are all our main headings, and when we have subheadings, we add them to subheadings. The next item we need to look at will now be how to bring in our material. Back onto our PC, I have material that I readily copied already to the clipboard. I'm going to add this material to chapter 1 and we'll see how to manage this material. Okay, that is it. We have pasted the material, but look at that. It occupies some pages. Am I going to be moving up and down from one page to another? No. To easily navigate through our document, we can always use this button here. We click on it, it shrinks the content of that page, but it is still there. We'll have to expand it at the time we want to print, so we can shrink it now such that it permits us to navigate easily within our document. So if we have content also for chapter 2 here, we paste the same content there. We realize that we have content for chapter 2 and the content for chapter 1. What are we going to do? Are we going to be moving from chapter 2 open and chapter 1 open? No, we are going to shrink, close chapter 1, and we can also close chapter 2, and we see the chapters that we are still to work on, and that will permit us to be able to navigate easily. Now let's look at the content in chapter 1. Introduction will be a subheading, so I will click on subheading. But when I click on subheading, starting MS Word will also be subheading. I will do that for all my subheadings. It means at any moment when I'm typing a subheading, I'm going to click on subheading. But observe that my subheadings are not bold. They're supposed to be formatted bold such that it looks good. I'm going to right click on subheadings, take modify, and this time around I'll click bold again, and observe that all of them will be bold despite the fact that we have not highlighted them. You look at that, it's bold despite the fact that we didn't highlight them. That is the advantage of using styles. And again, you look at this other text here, this text based on normal. That is why the font size is automatically font size 12. You look at this is subheading, automatically font size 13, and the main heading automatically font size 14. You can change various controls, like if your supervisor now tells you that all your main headings are supposed to be in the center and are supposed to be capital letters. What are you going to do? You can just right click on it and you take modify. In the modify tab, we're going to take align to the center. When we align it to the center, we can now change the font type. If we have to modify the font, if your supervisor has said we should put it at all capital letters, we're going to take all caps, and when we hit OK and hit OK again, we expect that all our main headings go to capital letter. Let's go up and check our dedication and acknowledgements. We'll notice that it goes to capital letters. Now that permits you to be able to look at it. It's capital letters, all of them, and they are center aligned. Now that control is done. The next thing we'll now need to check will be how to add labels. How to add labels to our figures and our tables. This is a figure. Are we just going to give the name of our figure by typing below? No, that's not what we're going to do. So this MS Word start screen, we're going to delete it. When our mouse cursor is blinking there, we'll go up to references. We click on references. We take caption. We insert a caption. Under captions, we insert a caption. When we insert a caption, the caption can either be a figure, a table, or an equation. On this label, it can be a figure, a table, or an equation. We're going to take a figure this time, and that was MS start page. Okay, that is okay for me. I'll hit OK. When I hit OK, I look at it, I see that the font type is different. That is because it is now a new style. We'll go back to our home page. We'll check by clicking on this drop down menu. We'll have the caption style. I'll right click on it and take modify, and I will adjust just like I did for the other ones. I'll change this one to Times New. My color should be black. It should not be italicized, and my font, my line spacing should also be 1.5 without a space before and no space after paragraphs. I'll hit OK and hit OK again. You see, that is the caption, the label we have added for that figure. We'll do the same for our table. If this is figure 2, I will delete this. We call that MS Word window. That's a window. This is a window for Microsoft Office Word. Explanation of a window. So we're going to add references again, insert caption, and this time around it's still a figure, and I'll say figure 2 MS window. I'll hit OK, and it automatically knows that that's figure number 2. So you no longer make errors with numbering your figures, and the same thing will happen to your tables. When we want to insert tables, we'll just come, we insert caption again, And instead of allowing it to figure, you see saying figure number 3, but we don't want to insert. This is not a figure, this is a table. So I'll click on the label and take table, and on table 1 I'll write the name of the table, elements of Windows. When I'll do that, I'll take OK, and it enters. But look at it, you see that the labels are not bold. We are not going to move from one to another to be making them bold. We'll go back to our home tab, and again in our styles group would right click on caption and modify it to make it bold, so that all our captions should be bold. Now look at that, all of them are bold, and we'll do that for all. We'll do that whenever we have captions. But then there's still some slight modifications that we need to make to our document to make it even better. Watch on. What we are going to do henceforth will be to look at ways that we are supposed to add references, such as citing books. Remember that when you use someone's book in your dissertation, you are supposed to cite that source. If you have material from the internet, you are supposed to cite it. But oftentimes, most students have difficulties in knowing how to cite books. And there are different formats in presenting your bibliography. Microsoft Office Word is going to help you do it. And how is it going to be done? Watch on. Let's move on to our PC. On the reference tab, in the citations and bibliography group, we are going to have to manage sources. Managing sources, when we click on manage sources, is going to open a dialog box. The dialog box will permit us to add a new source. It means at any given moment that we use a book, we have to come here and add a new source. I click on new. When I click on new, it will open the create source dialog box. I will have the type of source. On this type of source, I'll have to select the type of source. Is it a book selection, a journal in a periodical, or which type of source is that? Is it a website, a document from a website, an electronic source, an art document, or what type of document, what type of source is it? Students always have difficulties in knowing how to reference their sources, but this will permit you to do it. When we click on any of the source, we see the elements that are necessary to reference that source. If we are referencing a pattern, then we need to know the inventor, the year, the country or region, and the patent number. Whereas if we want to reference a book, the items we need to provide are a little bit different. We need the author, the title, the year, the city, and the publisher. The same thing applies to if we want to reference a website. The options are also different. So we are going to fill it corresponding to our type of source. I already have some sources that I collected here. So I'm going to check on one of them to edit. You can edit a source, you can delete a source, as well as you can copy a source. Now, we want to edit this source. I've selected it. I'll take edit. You look at that. It's a report written by Sproul and V. Anton. Title of the report is Computer Science Made Simple, published in 2006. And published by the American College of Computer and Information Sciences and the city of Birmingham. Now, that is all okay. If I want to change anything, I will highlight it and I will change it. But I don't want to change anything this time around, so I'm just going to cancel the edit that I've done to it. When I finish typing my project, if I want to reference any source, I take, for example, this introduction. If I want to reference this introduction, I'll just come at the end. Wherever my supervisor says I should add my reference, either at the end of it or at the beginning or at any point, I'll just click there and take insert citation, and the sources that are added, they will appear here. You see, I have two sources. Two documents that have permitted me to produce this content. I'm going to click on anyone from which this document is coming, this material is coming from. That will permit me to reference this first source. The second, this other material here, I will also have to reference it. I'll insert citation, and in the same way I will do it. And so that's what I will do across my document. Wherever I have a source and I want to reference, I'll just click on it. I'll go to insert citations. The books, the sources that I've listed, I will have the opportunity to add them. Once that is done, I will now know that I've referenced my sources. The sources that I've used, I've added them. We're now going to go to the final step of our book, which will be to insert some of the items that we have collected. Take, for example, the table of content. We'll have to generate our table of content automatically. I'll come to the place where I want to put my table of content. I'll go to the reference tab. I'll go to the table of contents group and click on the first option and take and click on it. That will permit me to have an auto-generated table of contents. with my main headings and the subheadings with their page numbers. In the same way, I'm going to insert list of figures. I'll go to the captions group. I'll take insert table or figures. I'll click on it. This one is list of figures I want to insert. So the caption label should be figure. And when I click on figure, I'll take OK. It will collect the captions I've labeled figures in my document, and I will display it here with the page numbers in which they are found. I'll go down to list of tables. In the same manner, I will insert table of figures, and here I will take, this time they are tables, so I will allow them there. I will allow table there, and it's okay. I can do the same for equations and for all the other labels that I have. Then I'll go down. I want to insert my references now. Also use this reference tab in the citations and bibliography group. I will now click on bibliography and I'll select the first one. When I select the first one, these references will come out following the APA style. Now, if my supervisor told me to use some other style other than the APA, I would just click on this APA and change the style. If he said I should use the Harvard style, I'll click on it. Observe to see how my references will change. So the moment I'll change the style, depending on the style my supervisor says I should use, it will also change the style of my bibliography, and I will not have difficulties in presenting my bibliography. I can go back to my APA and it's going to present it very well without any problem there. All right, hope you learned some little tips on how to pull together content for your dissertation. You want to check out our website, ictresourcecenter.com.